We lit the movie. What happened? So we got the monster? Why is it?
I blacked out drinking the other night. Happens to everybody. Happens to everybody. I called my friend up to ask him what the blackout drunk story was. Turns out I spent an hour and a half helping other drunk people cross the street. Which is not only a case of blind leading the blind, but it's also the most charitable drunk story I've ever heard. Like, that's heartwarming, because normally blackout stories are like, I broke into this family's living room and peed all over it. Or, I had an orgy with all of my sister's childhood friends. Yeah. But my blackout stories are just like, hey, what'd I do last night? Oh, it was amazing. You went to an inner city school and helped children believe in themselves. I really like children's stories now. Because children's stories, they always have like really positive messages at the end. It's just like, don't steal, don't lie, always be nice to people. But I want to see like children's television where like they give you messages when you're like an adult. Like, I want to see an episode of Blue's Clues where the guy goes completely broke and he has to sell all of his talking furniture on Craigslist. Yeah, I would love that. I want to see an episode of Dora the Explorer where she goes in for a job interview, but the only way she can get the job is if she sleeps with the CEO of the company. Where are we going? Up to the beach house. Where are we going? Up to the bedroom. Vominos!
There should be Dateline for like animal abusers. You know what I mean? Like some guy is like trash talking his goldfish. Oh, you stupid fish! Stupid idiot! What do you need? Salt water? I got you salt water. He's like about to like pee in his own fish tank. Chris Henson busts in. What are we gonna do here? He's a saltwater fish, so I thought, no, I think you were gonna urinate in his fish tank. No, it's a game you play. No, I walk outside. I'm ready to take you.
Sometimes I think that like Martin Luther King Jr. didn't like really write that speech because he wanted to like promote social equality, but he was just really trying to tell us about this really, really weird dream he had. Like he's like, yo guys, check this out, I had a dream. And my kids were playing with a bunch of white kids, and it was totally okay. It was totally cool. I always feel bad for like, I was thinking about like Native Americans and like if they wanted to write that speech, and it would go something like, I would have had a dream, but dream catchers. You know. So I'm lonely. I didn't realize I was lonely until I caught myself putting the toilet seat up when I leave the bathroom because I wanted to feel like there was a man around the house. And like, don't get me wrong, I get hit on all the time. Every time I go to a bar, like I'll have a guy come up to me and I'll just be like, hey, what's your friend's name? Don't like, I get that all the time, okay guys? Like, I'm doing okay.
I don't see the big deal about the Constitution. Like, everyone makes a huge deal about it for arguments. Like, some guy I was like arguing about gun rights, and he was like, I have a Second Amendment right to carry a gun. You can't take that away. It's like, actually, amendments are changes to the Constitution. That wasn't just always there. They can repeal amendments. They're not like permanent things. Like, and they'll be like, oh, well, it's unconstitutional to do this. Yeah, so was like voting as a woman before in 1920. They made a lot, they made like 24 changes to this thing. Before, for what, 1791, the government could just let the military stay at your house and there's nothing you could do about it. There was just no, how did they forget that part? It's like, do you ever like type up an email to your professor and like, hey, here's that really important document and it's attached, and you did send it and didn't attach it, and you look like a complete dipshit? That's the Constitution. The founding fathers are just a bunch of like drunk college kids. George Washington's like, all right guys, we're done, let's get wasted. And Alexander Hamilton's like, wait, you remember to staple that last part on, right? Yeah. You ready for a break? Break's coming up. Excited? Get out of here. I'm not. I had like the worst break like this time last year. Like, day one, I found like my Game Boy camera. Like, you guys remember what those are? Okay, imagine like your cell phone, but it can't call anybody. It just takes really shitty pictures that like you file through Instagram or whatever, and it gives it all this grainy texture. It was the coolest thing in the world. And to turn your Game Boy into this camera, and all my like childhood is saved on that. So I found this ancient like, piece of my history, and I couldn't find the Game Boy to go along with it for like all 8 days of break. And last day I found it, turned it on, booted it up, and it was just like 30 pictures of my dead dog. It was like alive when we took the pictures, but like...
Okay, so this literally just happened just now. I got nervous, so I went to the bathroom to go pee, and I was like, oh, the men's room is closer, I'll just go there. There's nobody here except for us, and everybody's in here. So I went to the men's room, and then I locked eyes with another boy, and he's in here right now, and I'm so sorry, and I didn't look while you peed. I feel so bad. Where are you? Where is he? So I'm sorry. It was just closer, and I didn't want to walk the whole way that way, so...
It's okay.
I don't do that all the time, it's just sometimes. You know you're really deep in like student loan debt though when like someone approaches you over the internet and says, hey, would you be interested in doing some pornography? And your immediate response isn't a no. Oh, tell me more, Mr. Porn Recruiter. You have my interest. And look, I know you guys are thinking like, Kristen, don't be ridiculous. You're not even hot enough to do porn. But the thing is, like, I actually have like perfectly symmetrical boobs, but like nobody knows it because I always wear hoodies, so I don't know, I'm kind of like the Clark Kent of titties. So, yeah, this guy, he's like, hey, you know, you want to do a pornographic photo shoot? Pay $7,000. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of money. And I was like, oh, shit, like, I can't do that, you know. My grandma's still alive, and my dad and I have a pretty good relationship, so I'm going to have to pass on porn until they're both dead. This is like hopefully soon, because I really need the money, so. Thanks, guys, you've been great.
When I was on my break, my dad was watching football games, was trying to keep me updated on them, and I just wanted to be like, you know, you've known me for 21 years, like, I don't care about any of this. He just kept talking, I don't know, I don't get sports, like, people on Facebook always be like, oh, Patriots fans are the worst, Eagles fans are the worst, but you're all football fans. You're all just as bad as each other. You're all equally bad. You're like here, and then like convicted murderers are like here, but only because they're the football players. Okay, I just shaved this week. I did No Shave November. I don't normally do No Shave November. I typically have a beard year-round, but I've been shaving lately, and I don't understand why I've been shaving, because sometimes when I walk past the mirror, I see myself in certain angles and go, you look like a female gym teacher right now. This isn't a good look for you. Like a lot of times I look like someone whose most exotic vacation took place in Cleveland. It has. I'm not denying that part, but it's just good to know I'm dressing, I'm being me.
I am so afraid of cars! And no one else is in all of society. And by the way, I'm right. These cars are crazy. I feel like I'm in that Twilight Zone episode where I don't want to say gargoyle. Where the gremlin is out on the wing. You know that episode where the guy's like, there's a gremlin on the wing! And I'm like, the cars are stupid! People are like, no, I'm not saying it. Cars are, you know, nothing's wrong with cars. Yeah, there is. Alright, let me break it down for you folks. Cars are made out of a lot of things. One of the main ingredients is metal. Metal, such as steel. You know, the thing that Superman is the man of. That indestructible alien. We took that indestructibility, made a machine out of it. How are we going to power that machine? How do we power most machines? You know, electricity, different things like that. People making cars were like, no, put something in it, catch it on fire, make it explode a lot. So that's how we're going to give power to this metal monstrosity. Then, it's not even like a little bit of explosions. It's enough explosions to give that metal The power of 300 horses. That's insane. That's an entire Greco-Roman cavalry. We're giving that to Superman? That's insane. Everyone's going on. I'm right. These cars are scary. Everyone's driving indestructible metal fleets of horses powered by explosion. Also, we're giving them to 16-year-olds? There's a gremlin on the wing, folks. 16-year-olds? They don't know nothing. And also not even the not even the ones that get good grades or something. All of them. Just anyone can get a car when you're 16. That's crazy. Show not even that modicum of responsibility. 16-year-old, like, oh, 16s, you can't smoke. You don't want to harm yourself. Here you go. Here's a giant metal machine with immense power and speed. Be safe.
I have 4 siblings. I have 4 siblings. 5 if you count Michelle Obama. And I do. And the reason is because my mom won't stop. My mom loves Michelle Obama, and she just constantly compares us to her. She feels like an older sister. Like, I'll come home and she'll be like, I saw your report card. Pretty good, but, you know, Michelle Obama graduated from Harvard. I'd be like, all right, it's irrelevant. But, or she'll, you know, she's like, oh, really? You want to, you know, you don't even have a job lined up. Michelle Obama is the First Lady of the United States. So, and I'm like, okay, Mom, I don't want to be the First Lady of the United States. I want to do something different from Michelle. Why are you always comparing me to Michelle? People always talk about mob mentality, but they were talking about a very specific section of it. They always talk about like riots and big violent stuff, which is like, that's a big part of it, I get it. But also mob mentality, they never talk about the fact that it also makes people really bad at figuring out how long to hold a rest when they're group singing. You ever get a group of people together to sing, they have no idea how long the pause is. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, I get it. People, you know, people get trampled on a lot during Black Friday. But like, people also probably just as often trample all over the Commodore's song Brick House. Like, you get a group of people together and they're always like, she's a brick house. I'm like, It's not Brick House. Okay, it's Brick House. Sometimes it makes me so mad I want to participate in flipping a van.
Google Plus and YouTube want me to use my real name now, which is weird because I was always told as a kid that if I ever told anybody my real name on the internet, I would get molested. That's it, that's what happens. So like, I'm like paranoid about it, and I don't know, is Google trying to molest me? Maybe. I can't tell. All they would really have to do is like pull up in a van that read cake, tits, and cats. I'm in there for the cake and cats. The tits are just there because I get bored sometimes.
So let's go have an after party at my place. And so we go back, and I meet one of his friends. And you know, I'm like talking to her, you know, we're flirting, you know, we have chemistry. And I asked her like, hey, what are you doing like after you graduate? Like, what do you want to do? And she looks at me and she's like, well, I want to be a trophy wife. And I'm like kind of thinking to myself like, yo, I don't have trophy wife money. Like, at best, I have like participation ribbon wife money.
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling, toss salad to scrambled eggs. And maybe I seem a bit confused. Yeah, maybe, but I got you pegged. But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again. Scrambled eggs all over my face. What is a boy to do? Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming out.